Hello, this is a demonstration on how to use EV360 and Eclipse for taking tests in Allie Hall's classes. So first of all, you can see here that I've got my Eclipse. I have Eclipse version 10, and I've got a real-time document open, ready to go. So when I'm getting ready to take a test, sometimes I warm up. So I'll have writing and stuff here, so it won't really matter because you'll be copying and pasting. The next thing is you're going to be in EV360, and this is my tests evaluations or on EV360. So I'm going to hit test available, and I'm going to just open up a test. Now you need to make sure if you've been using my evaluations and not hooked up to your CAT software, you're going to have some issues possibly with freezing in your CAT software. So you might have to actually log out and log back in before you take a test. Otherwise, you might waste a test. So I'm just going to do something really simple. And so it's going to come up with a bunch of tests on whichever one you're choosing. It says I'm about ready to attempt a jury charge test here. So it's going to open it up. Here it is right here. So you can see it's kind of getting ready for everything. First thing I'm going to do, I mean, if you want to look at concordance, you can. It'll just have a list of the words that are in the test. And sometimes the words that are in the test are not going to be on that. If you can not use that in your testing, that's better. Don't use that as a crutch if you can help it. Sometimes it actually might make it worse for your writing because maybe you're trying to learn a bunch of briefs right before or something and it might mess you up. So anyways, the next thing you want to do is you're going to take the test. So I'm just going to move this down here and get ready to, oops. So now I'm going to pause it and I'm going to take this test very quickly, and then I will show you the next step. If I am. So I just did this very simple test, 1 minute test. Now I've written it up, and what you want to do is, first of all, is you want to make sure up here you recognize or write down what the file name is, because the next step you're going to need to pull that up in EV360. So this is 1404, so I'll write that down so I know. And you're going to exit out of this. Just close it up. We'll come back to it a little bit later. Okay. And then you're going to go to EV360. And I need to make sure I have the right one here. Okay. So here's the EV360. You're going to upload that steno file. So I hope you know where your files are being kept. So you need to know your file path. Now mine are kept, I have actually my Eclipse, and I created one and it goes into my job dictionary. Now here's that 1404, and it says NOT. That is your note file. That is the one you'll be submitting. You have about 10 minutes to submit the entire document, okay? That's the beginning step. You take the test, you close it out. Now you're going back into EV360. I'm just going to open that, and it's uploading it right now, as you can see. Okay, now you must hit OK, because down here, you notice this file is still going. If you do not hit OK, the clock is going to run out and you're not going to be able to submit your test. So hit OK, the clock has stopped. Okay, so now sometimes just since I'm in here, all right, 100 demonstration. It doesn't matter. You can write whatever you want. Like that was super easy, or that test sucked. Or you could write an inspirational quote. I don't care. You can write. It just you have to actually write something in there. You'll choose the instructor, and then you're going to go back to your file. Okay, so let's go back into our. Let's see if I can find my Eclipse. All right, I'm back in Eclipse. Now you're going to need to pull up that file. So you're going to hit Control F, or if you have this icon here, you can hit that. And it's going to bring up your, let me pull this up here, your file manager, okay? You are going to select, remember 1404 was the one I was using. You're going to select that and you're going to open it. and it's going to bring this up. Now you're going to go through and you are going to correct it however you want. You go through, and let me just do this really quickly. And I mean, I'm just, like I said, oops, that is wrong. Okay, so I have just corrected this entire thing, all right, very quickly. So now I'm going to move my cursor to either the top right here or bottom, and I'm going to hit Shift and left, click, and then I'm going to hit Control Copy. And then I'm going to go to back to my EV360, and I am going to Control V. And it is in there. And one of the things I actually didn't do, which I would have done, and I can still do that really quickly. Let me just show you. Going back into my Eclipse, is I always do this. I will run it through a spell check, okay? Make sure there's no errors. I always run it through a spell check, like especially if you're doing like Q&A, it's going to show you if your Q's and A's are off. If like you have 2 A's in a row or 2 Q's in a row, things like that. So it's really, really important to always just get in the habit of doing a spell check before you submit your test. So I did that. You can also do that in EV360. I need to go back and get back into my EV360. So I'm back here, and I just put all that in there. Okay, I copied and pasted. Now, you can run a spell check here too. So now that you've copied and pasted it, this is going to sound crazy, but you're going to have to go back into your Eclipse. So it's kind of some back and forth. You've just copied and pasted it. Now you're going back into Eclipse, and you're going to close out this file again. And you're going to go to Control F or hit Files. And this time you're going to select it. Move this up here. You're going to select the one you want, and you're going to hit Zip. There you go. Just zipped it. And you can close that out when you're done. You're done with Eclipse. Now you're going to go back into your EV360. And now that you've had your note to your instructor, you put your instructor in there, and then you're going to hit Upload Transcript File. Up comes the zipped file. Now, wherever your documents are saved on your computer, that is the file path. I have mine set to this particular one, but yours might be slightly different. Hit open, and now it uploaded. Now you're done taking your test. Now what we're going to do is we're going to grade it, okay? So we're going to hit grade SAP. It's going to come up with this thing. I just ignore it, but now it's going to correct my test. And it takes a minute or a few seconds. And I had one error, okay? As I said, I went through this really fast. I didn't really even correct it, didn't really read through it. But of course it found one error, so I got 99.0%. So there we go. That's pretty much the test. And then you can exit out of it. You've successfully done this, hit yes. And then I'm just going to go back to this one, and it will show you, if you hit test submitted, it'll show you this one. Actually, I have to refresh it because I had this open already. But it will show you, here's the test right here. It just refreshed it. There is the test I just took, and then you have to wait for your test to be graded. And that, in a nutshell, is how you take a test.